one of the things that we'll look at right away is we'll look at, well, great that you've saved, and we'll look at the question of where have you saved?
What do you mean by that? Like where, like, of course, like I have my 401k.
Yep. So sometimes I think of that as like your asset mix, or maybe asset location could be a word for that. But like what types of accounts are your assets in that you're going to use to live in retirement?
And some people just think like they don't even know potentially like retirement. Maybe it's an IRA, 401k. They don't know anything beyond that.
Right. Totally. Yeah. So like we've talked about on the show before, IRAs and 401ks are a great place to save for retirement. And they do allow us to potentially defer taxes now, or we could choose to turn them into a Roth now. But if you've been deferring all that income now to this point, and you show up with, say, like $2 million in an IRA thinking like I'm golden, you may or may not be, depending on how much you need from that portfolio. Because essentially what you've done is you built an asset that is now worth $2 million, but some portion of that actually belongs to the federal government and the state government, wherever you hang out. Because when you take the money out, it's going to be taxed.
So I'm laughing because I'm looking at where we're filming this today.
Right.
And that's going to be a bigger tax bite from our account from $2 million because of state taxes.
Right. So like the common tax in the state of California is 9.3%, goes up to 13.3%. So you could have a really large amount coming out in taxes. So another way you could think of it is, of that $2 million, 10% of that belongs to the state of California.
Yep. Or what are we going to say? 15 to 20, 25 at least belongs to Uncle Sam and the federal government.
Right. So something like that. But then, so one thing we might look at if you have a long time until retirement is you might look to save to other accounts that you can then be more nimble with your withdrawals when they occur. So one thing we'll look at is, well, what percentage of your assets are sitting all in tax deferred accounts? What percentage are sitting in accounts like Roths? And what percentage are sitting in just traditional taxable brokerage accounts? Because if we have, ideally you have something like a third, a third, and a third when you don't know what the future tax law is, because then you have the ability to be really dynamic with your planning.